Hello, welcome to Energy Medicine for Healthy Living. I'm Dr. Melanie of Well Within Natural Medicine. And today I'd like to talk to you about some symptoms and energy imbalances that you might be experiencing that are related to an energetic pattern called homolateral, meaning energies aren't crossing over and supporting your body. If you've been having difficulty staying focused or thinking clearly, maybe you're dealing with chronic fatigue or exhaustion, autoimmune illnesses, chronic health conditions, multiple health issues, depression, anxiety, other emotional imbalances. Maybe your senses seem less acute or you feel less alive, and you're having difficulty shifting habits and changing patterns in your life. Maybe you're also feeling drained after physical activity or exercise. Those are all symptoms of this energy imbalance called homolateral. You see, when you're born, an infant, a newborn baby, is in this homolateral state, meaning energies are just running up and down the body parallel. And that supports us for a bit, but at some point, very quickly, we begin to crawl. And it's important to have that crawling phase as a baby, as an infant, because that begins to regulate the crossover energies of right brain to left side of body, left brain to right side of the body. And that crossing actually happens right here behind the inner eye. A crossover energy neurologically is called the optic chiasma. That's where the crossover is beginning. So when we're crawling, it's like this kind of motion and you're dragging along. And as you're doing that, you're beginning to set that crossover connection. We have also that crossover energy is like a figure 8 energy. And we have that crossover pattern in every cell of your being. There's a double helix strand of DNA, looks like a big chain of figure 8s. You have that in every cell. So this is an energy pattern that your body needs, it recognizes, it wants. And for many people, it needs to be restored because we've fallen out of the crossover pattern and into a homolateral state. When we are in that kind of state, it's like you could think of your body as a battery. Then if that was the case, you'd be operating at maybe 50% charge or even less. You just don't have the energy to even get through the day or do some simple task in your day or take care of yourself. But it's happening by design. When we go into that state, there's something that caused it to happen. It's nature's way of saying, slow down, rest, heal, regroup, take some time. And unfortunately, in our modern day society, we tend to not pay attention to that, and we just keep moving forward and carrying on. What happens then over time, that pattern, that parallel pattern becomes a new habit in the body, and it begins to interfere with our health. It creates energy disorganization, and it also leaves us feeling really fatigued. So if you're having any of those symptoms, I invite you to join me. I'm going to take you through a homolateral repatterning set. Now, my recommendation is to start, when you do this, is to start doing it laying down. Laying down and doing it slow will actually help it to cross over more quickly. A lot of people tend to do it standing up, more marching and working through it quickly. When you do that, it's going to take longer to reconnect and establish the crossover pattern. So I'm going to demonstrate it laying down. I realize some of you may be saying, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to lay down and do this once you see the pose. When I finish the series laying down, I'm also going to just demonstrate it to you sitting on the side of the table, or you can sit in a chair so that you're comfortable and you don't have to focus on laying down. But the key is to do it slowly. So if I was working with you one-on-one, I would energy test to see, A, are you homolateral? But I don't need to energy test. If you answered any of those checked off boxes for any of those signs or symptoms, then I can tell you this would be a great exercise for you to do. The second thing I would do is to energy test and see how many repatterning sets are needed. One set is 12 same side, 24 cross. That's one set. Two sets would be 12 same side, 12 cross, 12 same side, and 24 cross. So you can experiment. You can start with just one set once a day, see how that feels. You can do one set twice a day, see how that feels. If you feel like a bit more could be helpful, then you could try 2 sets once or twice a day. But generally, that's enough. If you're consistent with it and doing it on a daily basis, that's generally enough to make the shift in the pattern. Will reform and redevelop. I'm also going to show you another exercise that you can do around the eyes to help support that crossover. In fact, I'm going to share that with you first. It's called the Lotus Blossom. So right here, between the brow is going to be our crossover point. It's an acupuncture point called yin tong. And what we're going to do is from that point, you're just going to take a finger or 2 fingers, it doesn't matter, and you're going to trace around your eyes, and we're going to go horizontal. Now, it doesn't matter which direction, if you go right or left, you can mix it up. It really doesn't matter. You're just tracing around the eyes. And if I took my glasses off, I would just gently do it, touching the eyes. And it's just a nice fluid movement around. But the crossing pattern is here. So that's our horizontal figure 8. We're going to now make figure 8s in 3 more directions. So from the center point, go to one side of the forehead to the opposite cheek. Doesn't matter which direction you go in. So I'm going to go up and to the left of my forehead, down to the right cheek. If you're watching this on video, it's going to look backwards for you. I'm just realizing that. But again, it doesn't matter which side you start with. So I'm going to go up, around, crossing here, down to the opposite diagonal cheek. So that is the first diagonal. The next position is from this third eye point, going up to the hairline, making a loop, coming down below the nose. So that is the next figure 8. It's the vertical one. And again, you can touch or you can do it out in the field without touching. It doesn't matter which direction you go. It doesn't matter how many times you trace the 8. Just be kind of consistent. If you do 3 or 4 in one direction, do that in every direction. More doesn't have to be better in most cases. So now I'm going to come back to the third eye and finish whichever diagonal direction you haven't done yet. So for me, it's right forehead, cross to left cheek. And that is my diagonal 8. So I mentioned the optic chiasma here, and here's the third eye point. Those crossover 8s that we just did help to support and rebalance that homolateral energy, creating this crossover. And figure 8s in general, what did I say? It's in our DNA. So just doing that, that is called the Lotus Blossom. You'll find on my website, wellwithin.net, in the free resources, an additional separate video on that to give you more information. But it's powerful and potent, really helps to shift this homolateral pattern. I'm going to lay down and demonstrate how to do it in the reclining position. Again, the key is to do it slowly. Get yourself comfortable, whether it's on a bed, on the floor, on a couch, somewhere you can be comfortable. And we're just going to start slowly. So same side is right to right is 1, and left to left is 2. And you do want to lift your knee up and bring it up and bring the hand down to meet. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, you can stop anytime. If by the time you hit number 3 or 4, you're feeling tired, just take a pause and focus on your breath. And then when you're ready, just resume until you get the 12 same sides. So we did right to right, left to left, 12 times. Now, if we were just doing one set of homolateral, we would follow with 24 crossovers. So I'm going to do that next. So right to left, crossing the midline, left to right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's likely if you're in a homolateral state, you're going to feel tired doing this. So as I said, take your time, pause and stop anytime, and then resume when you're ready. So that would be one set, and you could do that once or twice a day, see how it feels. If you were going to do 2 sets, so let's say you had you checked off many of the boxes that I just talked about, you might want to try 2 sets once a day or twice a day. So it would be 12 same side, right to right, left to left, same side, 12. Then you would cross over 12 times, opposite side, doing 12. That's one set. And then the second set would be right to right, left to left, 12, ending with 24 crossovers, which is what I did in demonstrating that first set. That's the key. One set is 12 same, 12 crossover, and then whichever is your last set, you're going to have that 12 additional crossovers at the end. All right, so that is laying down. Again, slow. If you can't lift your knees up, prop some pillows under there so you don't have as far to reach, but really try to figure out a way to do it nice and slow laying down. All right, so you can also do it seated. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to do one set, and ideally I would be seated and my feet touching the floor. Again, it's about slow. So right to right is 1, left to left is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's the same side. For doing one set, we would do the 24 crossovers right here. So opposite, right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. As I said, you can do that nice and slow, and that's one set. But if you need to extend that to additional sets, I described that earlier, and you just modify it based on how you're feeling. Stop at any time if you need to stop and rest and breathe, and take your time with it. So this is an incredible way to really bring in healing to something that maybe you felt, you've had it so long, it's just kind of become a part of you. We don't have to live with something. It's all energy. So it's about us making a change and doing it gently and repatterning it and rewiring it, reconnecting it, so it can now recognize what needs to happen here. All right. Thank you for joining me today, and be well within.